Okay, we're 6 o'clock and we're live. Make sure that you turn on your microphones in front of you.
Okay. Yeah.
That's going down just a moment. There you go. There it is.
Sounds good.
Bill's hot.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order for the Gunter City Council, August 20th, 2026. The time now is 6:13. Does someone want to do our invocation? Bill? Yes, sir.
Dear Lord in heaven, we come today to ask you for, we thank you for the many blessings you bestow on us daily, Lord. But most of all, we thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins. Lord, we ask you to be with our city leadership, our men and women that work for our city. Lord, we ask you to be with the police, fire, EMS, our brave men and women serving this great nation, stateside and worldwide. Lord, we ask you to watch over us, keep us safe, guide us, protect us, forgive us when we fail you. These things we ask in your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Good evening, everyone. We will start out tonight with our citizen comments. That is our agenda item number 1. I believe Mark Merrill.
Bill, point of order before we get any further
Yes,
in this
sir.
meeting. I want to make a motion to appoint Bill Hamby to be the presiding officer until the mayor pro tem or the mayor arrives.
One second.
Aye.
I second that motion.
There you go.
Sorry, Mark. Go ahead, please, sir.
Mark Merrill, 71 Mallard Court. Just a couple quick comments. I was at the budget meeting the other night. There were some numbers thrown out. That we were $484,000 basically in the red on the 25-26 fiscal budget, and that money was transferred from reserves of some sort into our general fund for operations. Not our M&O, but our general fund. There was a comment made during the meeting by Councilmember Stevens that the council had been bamboozled into passing a budget that wasn't balanced and that all the facts had not been presented. And that if we look, we would understand that. But my point is that the mayor, who was accused of doing this, didn't vote on the budget. She only presents it to council. Council adopts the budget by voting on it. They also adopt any amendments to that budget through voting on those as well. My understanding is, even though Councilman Stevens made that comment, that he voted in favor of the budget and in favor of every amendment to that budget since then. I think it's very disingenuous and dishonest to blame somebody who doesn't get to vote for bringing a budget that later gets blamed for all these flaws. If you had an objection to it, it should have been brought up during discussion. You should have abstained or voted against the budget or offered an amendment to the budget to make it more in line with your desire. That's item number 1. Item number 2 is, on the budget again, 2 of the council members last year signed up to go to TML. How many signed up to go to TML this year?
6.
All 6 of you?
Well,
2 of those members last year didn't go, and the city's out $700 each for those 2 members not to attend. They decided not to go after the deadline to get the money back. So if you signed up, I ask you to go, and if you don't go after the deadline, I'd ask you to reimburse the city the funds that you cost the citizens instead of amending the budget to do it some other way. Finally, I think it's time that we quit pointing the finger on policy decisions when they don't go our way and step up and take responsibility for our own actions. In that vein, there's an item agenda, item, I believe it's 17, item 17. There's been discussion in the last couple of regular meetings about limiting citizen comments on agenda items and citizen comments in general to make the meeting shorter. Item 17 is to consider, discuss, and act upon an ordinance to adopt Grayson County burn bans. Grayson County has the oversight of the burn bans. We can do nothing to adopt or change them in any way. It applies to the whole county, and it's a total waste of time to even be on the agenda to be discussed in the first place. Not only that, I believe we already have an ordinance requiring burning bans in the city, and that there's fines for that. And it would just seem to me that it would just create more confusion about who can and can't burn. If you put a burn ban in the county, I would think that everybody in the county would be under that ban, which is in fact the case. Thank you.
Okay, you ready to move to number 2?
Yes.
Agenda item number 2, Director of Parks and Public Services report. Adam?
Good evening, council. This is pretty quick. I think the last one wasn't, but this one's fast. Just an update on Broken Bow for everybody. We reviewed the channels that have been cut behind the residents of Broken Bow, and they're too steep. So although they carry the volume of water we desired, it did not achieve the 3-to-1 slope. So the contractor is going to be coming back to create the V that we need on that slope, and there's not an issue with that. It should start back up again next week. The other thing that just on that, just for the public and council, because Mustang Sud is in water restrictions, we are going to use Curlex on those slopes, which is sort of a blanket with wood fiber in it to stabilize the slopes. We won't be sodding, at least not at this point. We're not sodding. So that's the only ones there. Also, I've hired a different asbestos company because the last one for the field house demo over at the, we're trying to get that demoed and inspected. They raised the prices. I didn't appreciate that. So I've gone with a different company, and they will be out there Monday to inspect. And then last, not to steal Eric's thunder, but it was good information. Cleveland Smith informed Eric and I this week that Mustang Utility District passed the preserve with both on and off-site utilities, which is really good. And then the first builder has already reached out to us on the trash, which is K-Hub Indian. So good news, moving right along.
Thank you. Eric?
So despite the fact that his was short, that means I get much longer this time. And he did steal my thunder, so it won't be 20 seconds shorter than it would have been. So mine just real quick here. This came up at MDD. I get asked it all the time, so I just want to bring it out into the public. I know some of the council probably already knows this, that the builders that we have going right now in the bridges and the preserve are, come on, give it up. These are homes. They're actually in the midst of being purchased by another builder, but we know that it hasn't closed on that yet, so we're still believing it's going to be Beazer Homes. And then Cape Havania, as Adam mentioned, they have come in. We met with them. We went over the PD ordinance and the developer agreement, so they all understand the different development standards and criteria, and then our permitting process. In the bridges, in 1B, there's GFO Homes. You've probably seen them, their signs up already. And then Our Country Homes will also be in the bridges, phase 1B, and then of course 2A is Man-Made Homes. So I just wanted to bring that up so everybody in the community knows that.
Are you aware of who has homes on the ground right now, Eric?
Right now, at this moment, it's just Man-Made in 1A because we just approved and fully accepted 1B on the bridges. So right now, it's just them. But I think we should be getting building permits from Cape Havania and GFO and Our Country Homes pretty soon for their models.
Cool.
Of course, now this isn't working for me. there, I got it here, but I'm going to switch screens. Love technology. See, I told you it was gonna take 25 minutes. It's not too hard reading. Also, I want to bring up, recently, back in 2022, an agreement was signed with a sign company called National Sign Plazas. I'm sure you've probably seen these around town. We have 4 of them right now that have been up since that time. The contract is a 5-year term, and it automatically renews for another 5 years unless we're going to negotiate it. And as I was looking around at them, there's, and I read the agreement that I hadn't seen yet because I was questioning some things that were shown on it. There's supposed to be advertising for home builders that are within the city of Gunter, city limits, or in ETJ that's imminently to be annexed, which is all fine, except for some of them are advertising Riverside Home Builders, which is actually in Van Holstein. So, which is fine, except that that's not what the agreement states. So I contacted him. Also, I wanted to see, as you can see, the city is supposed to receive a greater amount of $10 per panel per side per month, or 10% of the fee charged by the builder to the builder. So when I reached out to them to talk about 2 new signs that they put up, that was another thing, a part of the agreement, that when they want a new location, they need to correspond with us, and we approve those locations. They put up 2 that I didn't even know they were putting them up. I was already working on it when we got complaints that they visibility issues with one of them on McConnell. So they immediately contacted us, which is good on their part. They rectified the situation, took down those 2 signs. They now come back and show me where they want to locate 2 signs that will probably approve. But in looking at their spreadsheet, I was questioning them on some of their billings and what they've been paying us, and they've realized that there was an error on it, and they've actually been underpaying us some. So they're auditing that right now, and they'll get that rectified and send it to and correct it. Also, I want to take the opportunity. We have space allotted to us as the city to put directional signage to municipal facilities. So I've asked them on a couple of them to put directional signage to the library and city hall where it makes sense on the ones that they have. There is a map. I don't think this link will work, but if anybody wants, I can send it to you, that they use. That's an interactive map that shows the locations and then has a list of which sign plaza it is. You can click on it, has a sign, and it'll show you all the builders that are going to be located on it. Right now, I think the only new builder that's located on any of them right now is the GFO group. I don't think anybody else has done it yet, but they're aware of the ability to do this. And the big reason for doing these, I know you've seen all over the Metroplex, is because most cities, Gunter one of them, doesn't allow bandit or snipe signs, the small real estate signs that go up. We have a little bit of issue with that because we do transition on some thoroughfares from city to county to city and whatever, so you gotta understand where you're at on it, where they're being put on it. But if we have these, that helps eliminate them even wanting to do it anywhere along our thoroughfares. Another issue with the contracts that the agreement, because it does have those issues in it, they're rewording some of the context in it, and we'll bring that back to y'all, share it with the city attorney, bring it back to y'all for approval, reapproval, so it clears it up. Because what I need to know is, is it okay that we do need to kind of expand out that it's not just in the city of Gunter, obviously, because the only one right now would be the bridges and the preserve, but we do have some muds that are essentially surrounded by Gunter and would benefit from being located on these. And if you want to be able to do that, then we need to clean up the verbiage that will specifically say, more specifically, an area that they can go in, not just in the ETJ, because some of those areas are not going to be, they're not imminent to be annexed at all.
Is the picture you have showing up there an actual installation?
It is not an actual installation. This was actually, the pictures that I had got clipped too much, but this is what they're supposed to look like. This is an exhibit, an illustrative example of what they need to look like that's in the agreement, and that's what most of them look like.
Well, I'm not so concerned about what it looks like as where it is. It's very close to
Well,
the road, and it's a visibility issue. I know the one coming out of the bridges gets in the way of looking to see oncoming traffic, and that one would certainly
Yeah.
get in the way if that's where it was.
So we've
Are
talked
these
about it.
signs, are these signs beholden to the existing city sign ordinances?
They have to be out of the visibility triangle would be the primary one on this one, on these. not the total sign ordinances, because the agreement says the type of sign that needs to be, the maximum height that it can be, like that. So it has development standards specifically for these, because otherwise it would be an over height of the monument sign, and our signage requires masonry bases, which these don't have. So that's part of in the part of the agreement, it outlines specifically what the character, the size, and those types of things need to be. Doesn't necessarily talk about the location where it has a 10-foot setback or 20-foot setback, but makes sense to know when we're approving them that we make them have it set back correctly and for sure be able visibility triangles.
I guess we need to put that on the agenda and talk about it, because we gotta really understand what the benefit to the city is, because especially when it's like that with 5 or 6 placards on it, you can't see anything on the other side of that sign. It's not like a stop sign or a street sign where you can see around the pole. That completely obscures visibility.
Yep.
So
And that's why the
unless
main,
it's
the
doing
two that they
something
have
really
is-
important, we ought to be having a real question about why we have them at all.
Again, when we bring it back, you can bring that up. Again, the agreement was done in March 2022 for 5 years, but within a 90-day notice, if there are certain specific reasons to terminate that contract, then there's, I believe it said like a 90-day notice to terminate.
So are they required to come to the city when they want to put a new one down and discuss?
Correct. As I mentioned earlier, if they want to put a new one in, they have to converse with the city on where that location is.
Have they been doing that?
They just now put up 2 in the past month that they did not. So as soon as that happened, I was already working on some things with this. I contacted them and they immediately went out and took them down. And now they've come back and they've delineated a couple new places that they want to put them that we're looking at.
So you need a clean document that absolutely states what's going to take place and what it's going to look like.
No, we know what it's going to look like. On the document, there's probably 2 amendments in it. One was primarily, can it be beyond the city limits or in the ETJ with imminent annexation? How you would know that at the time of approving the sign, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would have liked to have had Grayson Crossing annexed, but it's a mud now. But it's still basically in Gunter. So I told him, I was like, look, I don't want to, approve these, especially for one for Riverside. I was like, that's in Van Alstyne. That's not even within proximity to me of what this sign, let Van Alstyne directing with their signs and stuff.
Right.
And then the other one was, once I don't want to completely open up the whole revamp of it. We could, I guess, but the purpose was just to clean up 3 of those items. I mean, I told him, I said, be careful, we have to clean this up, but I know you're probably charging more now than you did when this agreement originally went in.
Sure.
And I asked them, they go, well, it's 10, 15, sometimes 20 dollars. I'm like, okay. I should have told me that, but that's okay. But realistically, the primary reason I bring the agreement back is because it was executed by the city council, and signed by the mayor, and signed by the city attorney. So there's no way from staff level I could just say, just ignore the fact that there's 2 provisions in there that haven't been being followed. And they'll also ask your opinions on, is it okay to extend it out to the parameters of the ETJ at least, that would encompass those muds that are within Gunter proper because of the way we're physically situated and stuff, to help direct people to those developments. Sunset Ranch would be another one. If those builders chose, there's no requirement for the builders to do this. They just know they can't put up bandit signs and stuff. So this is an alternative to that. And we make revenue, a little bit of revenue off of it.
Would we be responsible for paying for the placards as City Hall Library?
Part of the agreement says that we have ability to request placement of some of those. Now, granted, we're not paying the $10, the lost revenue spot potentially, but they're maximum 12 feet, so you can have, depending on how, I don't know what their classification is on whether it's an 8-inch plate or a 6-inch plate, or how many they squeeze in there.
Right.
That's between them and the builders, I guess, on what they're paying to do it.
So we definitely need to get this on the next agenda then to talk about.
I'll try to push them. They're trying to give me some new verbiage on what they would be.
Well, we can talk about it at the next agenda, whether we have something from them or not.
Sure. I would like to have the agreement though, before I go approving another 2 or any other ones that they might want. I'd rather have a solid cleaned up agreement. And,
It would be good to know what the current one is too, so. It would be good to know what the current.
I can email it to you if you'd like. It's in our city files and stuff. I can email it to you if you want to read through it and look at it. The other thing was just real quickly on MDD. Had a good meeting Tuesday night. The new city manager attended, which was great. Talked a lot about different things we do. As you recognize on tonight's agenda, we have 2 people that resigned, so we're going to try to get 2 more as soon as we can on that. But they're pretty active in the different things that they're trying to do. We're in active mode right now to move forward with the purchase agreement on some more property on Main that I've been working on for about 2.5 months now. And finally got the contract price set and then got approval from MDD last night. So you'll be seeing that come through soon once I get that contract work executed. And that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Alderman report. Anybody got any?
I got a couple.
Okay.
So first of all, let's see, August 31st, County Commissioner Wright and County Commissioner Marr are having a town hall at the school. I believe Mr. Brodowski is going to be speaking along with the school superintendent. I think that starts at 6 o'clock. So I just want to let everybody know. Let's have a good turnout from Gunter.
It'd be a great opportunity.
Be a great opportunity to meet your commissioner. If you're on the west side of town, Lindsay Wright's your commissioner. If you're on the east side of town, it's Josh Marr. They'll both be there. And the other one is I got a call from a resident in the woods, and he wanted to say thank you to whoever moved the erosion control pallets. So thank you to whoever that was.
I have an update from the last meeting real fast. The direction last time was for the ambulances to the bid to be put together and sent out. Just for an update on that, the bid will go live on the city website Tuesday, August 25th. We'll run for 10 days, and Wednesday, September 9th at 11 a.m. we will leave bids. So that is happening next week.
Any other news? Okay, that brings us to number 5, consent agenda. And consider approval of minutes from July 2nd, 2026. Regular council meeting, July 16th, 2026. City council regular meeting, July 22nd, 2026. City council special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second A through F.
The second. Also all the way A through F.
Yeah, everything on the consent agenda.
And I agree.
All those.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's number 5. Number 6, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gunter, Texas, approving the 2026 annual update to the service and assessment plan and assessment role for the Bridges Phase 2A Public Improvement District in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code 372.031 as amended, providing a cumulative clause, providing a savings and severability clause, and providing an effective date. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. Luke Ham with P3 Works. What's in front of you today, like you said, is the Service and Assessment Plan update for the Gunter Bridges 2A PID. So I do want to make it clear, unlike the other PID action items that have come to Council this summer, this item is not issuing more bonds or levying more assessments or changing the structure of this deal in any way, shape, or form. This is really here for 2 reasons. First of which is for statutory compliance. So 372 local government code requires this service and assessment plan update to be brought to council every year. And then secondly, and just as importantly, it's making sure that the allocation of the assessments to each homeowner is still done fairly and in accordance with the original levying SAP, which was approved by council last year. So happy to go into any detail about any questions you might have about this.
Anybody have questions?
I do not.
William, you good?
I'm good.
I have no questions either.
I make a motion to accept item 6 for the ordinance with P3.
Alan first,
I'll second.
Second.
William with a second.
His latency.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that passes. Thank you, Luke. 7, discuss and consider and act upon an ordinance approving a negotiated settlement between the Atmos City Steering Committee and the Atmos Energy Corps, Mid-Texas Division, regarding the company's 20 and 26 rate review mechanism filing.
Good evening, council. My name is Travis Buckner. I work for Atmos Energy, which is the natural gas provider. With that being said, I would like to say I'm very grateful for electricity and for air conditioning. It's been coming in very handy here recently. But this is our annual rate review mechanism. This is essentially, Gunter is represented by a coalition called the ACSC Coalition. That is, I guess, represented by the Lloyd Grosbeck law firm and Thomas Torpedo. And then these rates are agreed to between Atmos and his law firm there. And this is essentially the rate that we have put pipe in the ground, we've put money in the ground, and this is our way of recuperating that investment in modernization and safety. So with that being said, the coalition that represents Gunter does make the recommendation that she pass this ordinance. Now, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Evening, Travis. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
How many Atmos customers do we have in Gunter?
There are 162 residential customers.
Wow, what's the plans to expand it?
That's up to the city of Gunter and the builders that come to Gunter. We're happy to expand into new subdivisions. And I will say we spent $71,000 in the city limits last year. I'm not great at math, but that comes out to about $440 per customer we spent.
Great.
So is the cooperative GCEC?
Well, GCEC doesn't deliver gas.
No, they're just electricity.
Yeah, just electricity.
Gotcha.
And we are solely natural gas.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Item number 8, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance authorizing budget amendments to the 2025-2026 and adopt the 2026-27 budget for Gunter Municipal Development, GMDD.
The NDD treasurer is here. Do you have any specific questions?
Well, I didn't get a chance to read it in detail, but I had a lot of questions from just perusing it quickly. Seems like there was a lot of money spent on an attorney and some unusual shifts around expenses for office supplies and such, so it's definitely worth looking into, and I apologize to everyone for not spending more time on it, but I just haven't had time this week.
I don't have much clarity myself.
Well, I'll make a motion to move to the next agenda item. We can take it up then. We had time to go over it more.
I'll second that for sure.
What was the motion? I couldn't hear it back here.
Postpone.
What?
Postpone to the next meeting. You're tabling to the next meeting? Tabling to
Yes.
the next meeting. Okay.
Look, you got a question.
Postpone it to a date certain. Wade's not here, we're not gonna call it table.
That's fine.
He can't defend himself while he's not here, so.
Okay. Got a motion, take a second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Good. Pat is like 30 seconds behind everybody else.
Yes, that latency. I know.
The delay.
Yeah, he's gonna call us.
Okay, let's see here. Number 9, receive an update from the Gunter Library on activities and facility transformation.
Hi,
How you doing
Council.
there?
All right, are you able to get it up here? Technology, hang on 1 second. While Eric's getting it up though, my name's Kelly, I'm a volunteer at the library. Here we go. And we try to give an update to the council every year for what's going on at the library, and this year is kind of major. So.
So I just need to just talk a little bit.
Okay.
Perfect. Next slide, please.
Yes. Uh-oh. I didn't do anything, it was in the microphone. Okay, there we go. Wait, I didn't touch it, I swear. Didn't touch it. Didn't touch the thing.
It's Eric's.
Hey.
Okay,
Good luck.
thank you. Okay, I only have 5 slides, just so you know. So, we are in the middle of a major transformation project for the entire library. Oh, it didn't switch. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me, man?
Say start the show on the top left.
I didn't bring my glasses, I can't see this.
I can't see you, I'm just guessing.
We could all share my reading glasses.
Like what? It should be showing All right. Anyway, while he's fixing that, just to let you know, from 2024 to 2026, the Gunter Library grew with cardholders by 21%. We now have 2,400 cardholders at our little teeny tiny library. While he's working on that, I have a couple pictures to show you that we have been busting at the seams. There we go. Wait, it worked for a second.
Seconds all counts.
And I'll give you an example of how we're busting at the seams. We have a senior program that we do senior bingo on the first Thursday of every month. And we technically are only supposed to have 15 people in the library at a time. We had 27 show up. So that's like a high cost problem, but a good thing. Same thing, you can see all the little kiddos, we're busting at the seams. So, and that shows, the little chart shows how we've grown. Can you do the next one, please?
Let's try.
It's a good one. There we go. There we go. Just so you know, Gunter Library is the smallest library in the state of Texas, in case anyone didn't know that. We're 800 square feet. We made a decision as a board early in this year that we were going to grow. We were going to double our size. So we acquired the space next door, and that was thanks to a very generous grant from the NSF Foundation. So we knew we could afford our rent. Then we approached a foundation in Austin called the Talker Foundation and worked with them. They gave us free architectural and design services, and they've given us $110,000 for fixtures and furniture. In addition to that, we approached the O.D. Mayer Foundation they cover Grayson and a couple counties in Oklahoma, and they funded our entire construction budget, or more or less. So we mostly got our money in order to double our library without really hitting the city or anybody. We're almost there. We've got $265,000 raised. I need about $25,000 more. And I'm working real hard with local businesses. We've had great success. Eric and Adam have helped me immensely approach the developers in the city, approach home builders in the city, because frankly, they're the ones that are going to benefit from this. People don't want to move to a city that doesn't even have a library. And so they've come through in a big way so far. I'm not done. And I will get that additional $24,000. Anyway, we started construction this week. We're going to now be 1,600 square feet. We currently have about 6,000 books, but honestly, the future, other than for kiddos, is in electronic books. And for those of you who aren't members of the library, we have access to 70,000 books through an electronic book program called Libby. Totally free. They have 40,000 audiobooks. I use it every single day driving, and it's wonderful and it's free. And even if you don't live in Gunter, but you work in Gunter, you can be a member for free. So just to be FYI on that. All right. So just real high level key improvements. Our new facility is going to be, our current facility is teeny weeny. Our new facility is going to be bigger than this room. So we're very excited. That's just a schematic of it. We're gonna have modern technology, dedicated area for teens, a bigger children's area, all those good things. We're excited for you to come in fourth quarter, all right? Very quickly, why are we even doing this? We needed more space. We want to encourage more reading. Anyone who works at a library and volunteers at a library, we want to encourage reading. Reading is huge, especially for our young people. But we also, this is the most important thing on this slide, we also want to really encourage community engagement. We don't have a senior center. This is our senior center. We don't have a lot of preschool and early learning opportunities in Gunter. This gets us there. Right now, every Tuesday morning, I think it's Tuesday at 11 o'clock, we have preschool story time. It's huge. We want to expand upon that, and this will allow us to do so. Again, I'm going to stress the older adult thing. We don't have a senior center in Gunter, and we're kind of functioning as it. Our goal for 2027, right now we meet once a month with the seniors. Our goal is to have at least twice a month. And we've even applied to the Texoma Community Foundation in Sherman for a grant to allow us to have more senior programming. I'm not going to spend much time on this other than the big schematic there that says 95%. The Texas Library Association did a survey in 2025 of the entire state and learned that 95% of Texans say they only want to live in a town or a community that has a library. And you can check me on it. It's on the Texas Library Association website. I kind of thought that was important, especially for us as a growing city. Everything else you can read on the website. And I want to give a huge thank you to a lot of groups. First of all, the City of Gunter. You guys are our biggest supporter, or one of our biggest supporters. Our biggest supporter. We are required by the Texas Library Association in order to maintain our accreditation. We're required to have a certain level of support from the city and county. And you guys have been kind and generous enough with us to do so. We've also been the beneficiaries of a lot of foundations that are all within the state of Texas. And some of our local developers, I've got a shout out to Centurion American and also Fraser Capital, have come through in a big way for us. Again, a shout out to these two guys, Adam and Eric, because they've really helped me. They've opened doors that I would have never got into. So they've helped us a ton. What questions do you have about the library and what we're doing?
I think you're doing fabulous.
Thank you.
I appreciate your hard work and dedication to it.
We appreciate it. Believe it or not, there's only 5 libraries in Texas that have no employees, and we're one of them. And we have 2 volunteers here tonight that work really hard at the library, both Nancy and Doris. So thank you for that, and we all appreciate it.
Well, the future looks very bright. Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. Okay.
Hang on, Bill.
Okay, sir.
Where's Al?
He stepped out, I think. to the restroom.
You have to wait for
We
him.
have to wait for Al.
Okay.
I'll go find him. I'll bring you back.
Minor technicalities.
I didn't even notice he left.
Check.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey, don't say that out loud.
Oh, this was so trouble in the presentation. So it was good. We're gonna get the library to show us how to use these computers. Yeah. Wrote it up, fix the technology.
Okay, we don't need Alan anymore.
All right, we got it.
Hey, Pat. No, you just swear him in first.
No, but now we need Deidre so she can make a note of you.
Oh.
Here you are, Pro Tem. We are at
Highways.
Hey, Pat.
10. We're gonna just write it down, 652.
Yes, sir.
We can give weight to gamble again.
Yeah.
I don't know, so I guess we're making a motion for a recess.
Just literally just.
Okay. Hey, that works. sorry, I was at my kid's football game.
Oh, did you?
They're still playing, but I was like, text me when we get to agenda item number 9, leave and come up here. So, but I didn't know that the mayor wasn't going to go.
I wrote it on the paper,
Oh.
in case you wanted to know.
Perfect.
Y'all didn't know?
I didn't know. And that's more than fine, yeah. I got everything.
We just made a note in your tablet for
When I showed up. Adam wrote the time, 6:52.
Double check that, but, you know, Adam's a little dyslexic, so.
No, it's me.
Oh,
I'm just like.
Wade's a little dyslexic.
Yeah.
It's cricket.
It's the way I was facing it.
I'm ready when you are.
We're back from our recess.
Okay, I guess we are back from our recess. It is 6:53. If I have to say time, if I don't, then it's 6:53. So we are on agenda item number 10, I believe. Okay, thank you, everyone. Discuss, consider, and act upon accepting a letter of resignation from Jessica Dunn, place number 1, Gunter Municipal Development District.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay, Pat with a motion,
I'll second.
Bill
I'd like
with
to
the
thank
seconds.
for dedication to the community and trying to make it better. Thank
Yeah.
you for your time that you put into the GMD.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No? Okay. Well, yes. Thank you very much, Jessica. Okay. Number 11, consider or discuss, consider, and act upon accepting a letter of resignation from Micah West, place number 7, Gunter Municipal Development District.
Wait, hold on just one second.
Oh, sorry. We're going to take another pause here. Okay, well, then I guess that was it.
But that means we can't do our emergency meeting.
Kind of talked about it, but we didn't.
It's called another meeting. Wednesday or
Yeah.
next Thursday.
We're having a lot of intermissions today.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Okay.
I'll just do it all at once.
I don't want to take your 3 minutes away.
No, it's me. I can do it all three.
Okay.
Thanks for
Yeah,
letting
that's what I'm
me
saying.
know.
Yeah, it was both
I got
10 and
a little
11 and 17.
distracted
So
over
you want to
there.
do 10, 11, and 17 all in one go? Mark?
I'll do something when you get to it.
Okay.
But I'm hoping you'll take action on that from my previous comment.
Okay. Well, we're doing 11 now, so would you like, come on up, Mark.
You can announce what it is if you want.
Discuss, consider, and act upon accepting a letter of resignation from Michael West, place 7, Gunter Municipal Development District.
Mark Merrill, Mark Merrill, 71 Mile Court. I want to take a moment to thank Micah and Jessica for volunteering their time to the city. Their service is noticed and appreciated by many people. I support every volunteer who gives their time to the city. I know for a fact no one here volunteers more time to the city than the mayor. That's why I support her. And that's why I support everyone else who steps up to help. We have in our state religious groups looking for dysfunction in government and large plots of land to set up a camp. We have both right here in Gunter. This is a warning to everybody. That said, I look up to an organization across town whose volunteers are unmatched in this community. They support each other in every way at every event. They do not tear people down or single someone out for making a mistake. They don't post pictures of a clown nose or create memes about meeting or event when somebody changes their mind and puts up their arms. these groups support one another, work with one another, and lift each other up. That group of professionals has set a standard that we've seen as a council and a body here unable to meet. That group that I'm talking about are the students of our school district. The ones who go to band practice and go out and may make a mistake, but they don't get thrown under the bus by the rest of the band members. And the football team, you know, and the guy that may run the wrong pass route and cause an interception, he doesn't get downgraded by the whole team. He doesn't get dragged through the mud or made fun of online. You know, girls volleyball and basketball. It's that way with every sport and every organized activity at the school district. But here in the council meeting, there's so much division, finger pointing, and blame placement instead of actually trying to move the town forward. That being said, again, I want to thank everybody for their volunteering. I ask that we all try to work together to do the business of the city and move forward in a positive manner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, and that was the only one for those two. So number 7, do we have a motion to approve or accept?
Make a motion to accept.
Bill with the motion. Sorry, Pat, you didn't see that. Would you like to second that?
I will second.
Okay, Pat with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No? Okay, perfect, thank you.
I'd like
And
to
yes, thank you for,
dedication to the community
yeah,
as well, and all the time that he spent working for the MDD. Much appreciated for all his efforts.
yeah, exactly. That's,
And actually, on that note, we do have 3 applicants. I've received 3. I got with Hayden, and we're going to be setting up a time for the interviews.
perfect.
So we'll keep you posted.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item number 12, discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance setting the salary of the city manager and the bond. I believe this has been on the agenda a couple different times, and we finally had it go through legal, I believe, was what we were
Yes.
last waiting for, and it's gone through.
And granted, at the front is your original, and the second is revised.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance the way it's edited by Grant on the second presentation.
Okay, we have a first.
Second.
Bill with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. All opposed? Nope. Okay. That one passed unanimous. Agenda item number 13, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance authorizing the established tiered signatures and counter signatures requirements for the disbursements.
This also just got struck by legal, correct?
Yes, I believe so. And then also the clarification towards Deetra that this is not going to interfere with her ACH workings.
Yeah, that was already in
I know that was already, but just a clarification of there, or now there.
there. Yeah, so
Okay.
this one has some of that, the stuff we agreed to last time added into it, so.
Okay, and it went through Grant. Hayden, you got a chance to look through it? Okay. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept it as edited by Grant.
Okay, Will with the first. Anyone?
Second.
Pat with the
Hold
second? Oh, hold on a moment.
I just wanted, for clarification, where is in here about the ACH for payroll? Just make sure I can see, because I was reading through it and I didn't see where those items were excluded.
It's in a couple of different places. I'll go over it with you after the meeting, so we don't have to spend time on it, but it's in.
Well, I don't mind going through it now,
All right,
just before we do
so,
go all the way through with the motion.
so there's an exception. The biggest one is under section, which is now section 9, under grants renumbering, where it says that to the extent possible. So,
Okay.
some of these things you cannot do it. The bank doesn't do it, you can't do it, you can't make it happen. So it's only necessary when it's possible to do it. If it's not feasible, obviously, you can't force somebody to do it. You can't tell the bank what to do just because we passed an ordinance. So,
Great. That was my need for clarification.
yeah, there's other little ones to fix that problem elsewhere, scattered throughout the ordinance, but that's the biggest one.
And we actually started that this week. So once I went in there and approved the payroll, I signed off, he signed off, and so we've kind of already started the process for you.
Perfect.
Good.
Well, we have Will with the first, Pat with the second.
Well, I see, I got ahead of myself. We have to fill in some blanks. Sorry.
No, I want to make sure it's all taken care of.
We have to
before
fill in some blanks, so we need some approved alternate signatures whenever we hit those tiers. So we've got Wade in, so normally it would be Deidre and Hayden. That would be the normal process for 90% of the stuff that gets done. And then when it goes into the second or third tier, then we need to have some people who can sign off.
It would be your mayor pro tem that's already on the bank with us.
Right, so we have a blank for Wade, we need one more alderman, and then we need one more administrative person if we want to have that extra tier just in case, but it does require at least two choices, so you've got because on the third tier, you need 4 people looking at it. So
the secretary, the city manager, the mayor pro tem, and a alderman.
So they're statutory required every time. So we're just adding on to that. So for the third tier, it would be you normally.
Or just the mayor pro tem.
Yeah.
But
And then for the fourth tier, we're going to need one more person. So somebody that wants to volunteer to be available. But those are going to be really unusual purchases because they're going to be extraordinarily large.
How often would that come around?
Once a quarter? No.
What was the tier amount for the one that requires 4?
Let's go back and look. 30,000.
Over 30,000 that's unscheduled, unplanned.
That's not budgeted, that's the clarification, makes it
not
more
budgeted.
unusual, we shouldn't be spending 30,000 unless it's.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it's our bond payment of $90,000, it's still just going to be our 30.
Yep.
Oh,
Two.
this is going to be very rare.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do we need to just have a person in there or just say alderman?
Well, we need to pick one. We need a name. So,
Yeah, but we'll have
I'll
to
do
name.
it.
So
I'll do
volunteer. Yeah.
Okay.
it's going to be
Okay.
Bill.
Bill?
I will have to come back at the next meeting. We will have to turn around and do another resolution.
Okay.
Add him and we'll have to all go sign again.
Yeah.
Just
So we
FYI.
can approve it now
We can
with.
approve it now with
Yes,
his name.
yes. I'll just have to bring back the bank resolution.
Okay, good, so we can get it on file.
Okay.
Okay. So we have Will with the first, Pat with the second. All in favor with having Bill as the fourth signer as an alderman?
Aye.
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 All right, that passes. Okay, 14, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance establishing rule of procedure for the city council governing the entry into a closed session and the adjournment of a meeting. This is where you vote on leaving the open session and to go into an executive session. We have to vote before we walk off. And just
This one was real simple. Now it's real complicated. I want to say, I don't really recommend getting into the business of telling Franklin how to do the codifications. Normally we pass an ordinance and we leave it to them. We don't go through the nitty-gritty details of exactly where to stick it into the code. This one is doing that, so I don't know why we went that direction on this particular ordinance, but I think it's a potential problem down the road, so.
Does it have to be an ordinance, or can we just, as a governing body, just agree to make a motion to go off into executive session?
It has to be an ordinance if we want to enforce it. So,
So it's not right there. Grant looked at this, and some words got changed or things got changed.
Well, okay, let me back up a little. We pass an ordinance. Normally, we just pass an ordinance, it gets published, and then we have a choice about whether we want to put it into a code. And when we put it into the code, we usually hire a company to do that. And I believe we use Franklin to do that. There's multiple companies that do it, but their job is to take that ordinance and then make it look, give it a number and fit it where it belongs. We don't have to worry about that when we pass an ordinance. And normally, you don't want to because you might get it wrong and you're getting in their way to do their job. So I would say, let's go back, other than the form, we should talk about the substance and just pass that and let Franklin do their job. without getting into the nitty gritty of telling Franklin exactly which number to put in and how to, it's gonna be 3.7.9.12. That's beyond what we need to be worrying about, because
Yeah, we just want to put
that's
it
form,
as
that's not substance.
plain and simple and
Yeah.
then do everything. But that's not the way this is
Well,
looking.
yeah, I don't know why we went this way, I don't know what happened here, but, so I would say we need to go back to the way it was originally presented, which was just fine, it was pretty simple. We vote to go into executive session and we vote to adjourn.
Yeah.
We just keep it, keep it
simple.
simple. So,
Okay. So on this one, do we need to bring it back to the table then?
well,
Was that a motion, William?
yeah, I'll make a motion to take it the way it was originally presented and not get into to the weeds about telling Franklin how to do their job.
Okay.
That's editorial in the end, but,
Okay. We have a first with William. We have a second.
Second.
Bill with the second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that one passed. 15, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance for the appointment of the municipal officer and continuing the current city secretary in office, establishing appointments and removal procedures, providing for oaths and bonds, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. That one was not mine.
So that one I had submitted, I don't know, way back when. Actually, I meant to submit it way back when. I forgot, and I found it and I sent it to Deidre, but it's housekeeping. But again, I had the same comment on this one as on the last one, and I'm not sure why Grant was doing this, but he got off into the weeds about telling Franklin where to actually write the code. We don't actually need to do that. We just need to affirm that we're going to keep but this one's a little more complicated than the other one, so I would say we need to do this. We don't have a choice. We need to stipulate these things. And some of the edits that Grant made was good, but we need to probably go back and revisit whether it's going to be our practice to tell Franklin how to write their code assignments, if we're going to stay out of that. So I'll make a motion to move this to the next meeting and let Grant reconsider what his edits were.
Second.
Okay, we have William with the first, Pat with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And with the caveat that I like the rest of Grant's edits, except he doesn't seem to like the word governing body. He seems to like city council.
But I do agree with you. Once Franklin and now it's General Code does their thing, they send us hard copies. This will mess up the whole little bunch of things.
Yeah,
It'll be terrible.
It's never a good idea to get into their business.
I'm the one that's in the code, just those pictures. Yeah. Okay. Well, then we'll bring it back and have it for next meeting. And there we go. Okay. 16, discuss, consider, and act upon the ordinance to address how items will be added to the city council meeting agenda. I thought we already talked about this.
I thought we did too, but maybe we
Because we have at the end of our meeting what we want to put on, and then I know if you think of something outside of the meeting, you send an email in, but you have to have two council people kind of say the same or have the same thing. I don't know.
Well, as the voice of constituents, I think it's imperative that we have the ability to recommend agenda items.
Without having multiple council suggest the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Because you might hear something different that I never hear.
Yes, sir.
So, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling down to that. Just move.
That's fine. I think these ones are yours, so.
Yeah, because this one has a few edits in it that, where'd it go?
Well, Bill, you gotta get your numbers up on submitting ordinances.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You gotta get those numbers up.
I'm gonna work on that.
You got a low quota, you gotta get them up. Gotta beat him.
So we're on 16 now, right?
Yes.
So there's no edits to it. But I saw edits to it earlier.
So are you telling me it's the way it was given and what was wanted?
No, I don't think I wrote this one.
I think we're on a good track of time, so. You know. Yes.
Yeah, it almost looks like he went with Woods, but
What
there's
was
not,
given.
there's no revisions.
Yeah, I didn't see any red lines or anything.
You should.
Yeah, I read this earlier today and I saw something that was a little strange, but, because if I recall, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but last meeting, we had discussed, it only takes one city council member to send in a written request for agenda, not two.
Yeah.
So. we need to
That's what I
change that.
remember, William.
Yeah.
Then that's what Bill confirmed on, that's,
So we need to change
Probably the
that
way it should be.
to one, not two.
okay.
And then so we've got the roll call vote in the meeting to add something to the agenda. And then the most important one is subparagraph E, that once it's on, it doesn't get taken off. Although there's some spacing problem in this, formatting problem in this one. So, I'll make a motion to accept this with the edit that it's only one written request, not two.
I'll second that.
All right, we got William with the first, Bill with the second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That passes. 17, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance to adopt Grayson County burn bans.
Okay. Do I have a floor?
If these are yours, then I don't know anything about them.
All right. I asked this to be on because the city announced that there was a burn ban, and my remark was, so what? The city can't do anything with it because the burn ban stops at the incorporation boundary. So if we're going to want to observe the county burn bans, which is not a bad thing to do, we need to have an ordinance to accept it and follow it. Now, burn bans can last days. Okay, so we only meet once or twice a month. So if we're gonna follow the county's lead, which is a smart thing to do because the county keeps track of it, and the fire marshal keeps track of it. There's a scale that comes out of Texas A&M that keeps track of which counties are dry and who's going to burn. So it's a good thing to do, but we need to have an ordinance to say we're going to follow it because the burn ban could come and go literally within a meeting time that we'll never have time to actually meet and call for it. So if we want to follow the county's lead on this, it's not a bad thing. We just need to have an ordinance in place so that it works on its own without us having to meet and call for it every time, because we can easily miss several, because they can come and go all through the season.
We have Mark Merrill here that wanted to speak on this agenda item.
Mark Merrill, 71 Mile Court. I disagree with Councilman Stevens. The county burn ban is countywide. It's issued by the county. Grayson County encompasses the whole city of Gunter. We're not in Collin County at all. Their burn ban is in effect inside the city limits, regardless of whether or not the city has an ordinance. Period. That's just the way the state law works. You cannot override the county's burn ban and say it doesn't apply inside the city limits. You can't pass an ordinance that says that. So any ordinance that you do pass to affirm it doesn't do anything. I think it's a waste of time again if this is on the agenda. Y'all want the meetings to be shorter, quit adding fluff to them that we have no business discussing as a city and that you have no power actually enforcing as a city.
Thank you.
Has there been an issue with this?
Yeah, that's it. Love your thoughts on this.
Go ahead, sorry.
Has there been an issue with this at all?
No, sir. No. And my encouragement to you, regardless of where you stand on the variety of concepts how to do the enforcement, this is a daily decision for us. In order to burn in Gunter, Texas, by code, you have to have a permit to do so. So if a person wants to burn tomorrow, they have to request a permit from us that we have to make an informed decision from associated with that particular permit each and every day. So regardless of whether or not there's a burn ban in place or not, we're having to make a decision. So understand that our decisions as your staff will be to not allow any permits for burning inside the city limits during a burn ban. And then also, outside of the burn ban, we still have to make the same types of decisions on a day-to-day basis. So my point to that is that we're doing this already.
regardless of what ordinance you were to pass or not pass tonight, it's not necessarily necessary for us to be able to make that daily decision that we make already.
Okay. I do have a question, because I know we live out here in the country and a lot of us have bonfire pits. Who wants to really sit around a bonfire at 101 degrees at night? I don't know, but just throwing that out there is, it's not burning waste, it's just having a fire. If we're underneath the burn ban for Grayson County, that means, like, for example, I'll just use me. If I was having a bonfire and someone called it in, then I would get a ticket or something.
So I'm going to get a little specific for you real quick. If you go to the county's website and consequently ours, it points there. There are parameters around what is a safe device designed for doing said outdoor campfires or controlled area fires. They're the subject matter experts, and we follow along with that as it relates to what's allowed and not allowed based on those parameters. And they would certainly be our subject matter expert if we wanted to say, hey, we're on the edge here. This is not, UL certified for outdoor burning, but we're comfortable that it's a safe operation. We would certainly talk with the county fire marshal to make an informed decision there. But the idea is that you have designed a space to do that type of safe outdoor burning, and that's outlined within that burn ban material and annually on their website.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The only question I have, Ken Kramer, is if we do decide to go down the route of creating this ordinance, does that take the ability of us as a city under staff's recommendation of, hey, we're looking at the assessment. Grayson County has not issued a burn ban, but we, in our due diligence, feel we should restrict burning in the city of Gunter. Will that stop us from being able to do that?
It's certainly my encouragement to you that we allow them to be the subject matter experts in this area and the timing of that. So my point is if we get a thunderstorm tomorrow and we just catch 4 inches of rain and the county decides to remove the burn ban, but we've got ordinances that continues to carry it, we're in that in-between phase. Right now, your staff, based on code and the permit requirements, will follow exactly what the county is saying and recommending in that area. We will not deviate from that at this point in time.
Yeah, but let me address Pat's question. So Pat, what you're asking is, we're gonna follow the county's lead, but we could also be more restrictive on burn bans, but we wouldn't be less.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious as to
if that's what your concern was.
There would be a language in there to allow the Gunter Volunteer Fire Department to institute burn bans at their will, not just necessarily if the county doesn't issue one and we feel we need to, then I feel we should be able to. But if we are under this ordinance and we can't issue one because we only follow the county's restriction, which I know that you guys are doing right now, but once again, you put an ordinance in there, you got to think of the futurity of it. And should there be we should probably not allow stuff to burn today in Gunter.
Even though Grayson County is open.
I want to have that anonymity to be able to do that.
Well, Pat, this doesn't address that scenario that you're talking about. If you want to have more burn bans than what the county has, you can certainly do that. This is just saying that when the county does it, we'll do it too.
Okay.
Which effectively means we just won't issue permits during that time, is what it really comes down to.
But my encouragement to you is we already have to make that decision on a day-to-day basis, regardless of burn ban or not. We're committed to y'all, and understand this is not a Gunter Volunteer Fire Rescue decision. This is a code compliance situation, and that decision is made by your fire inspector, fire investigator at this time, under the parameters that are currently being used under the city via the county fire marshal's office.
So we're already doing it right now, and like you said, if Grayson County lifts a ban burn, but you guys still advise that nope, it's still a little dry out there, no burn permit.
Or they don't meet other parameters associated with that, that could cause us to deny it also.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, this would not interfere with that at all. This is just saying this would be the minimum, not the maximum.
But if we've been doing fine just right now. I mean, we have to have an ordinance.
No, the only reason I brought it up is because it got announced on the city website, and it doesn't.
Well, yeah, because they were just saying, "Hey, this is what Grayson County said."
I know, but it has no teeth unless the city follows along and adopts it. Because the county burn ban stops at the incorporation of the city limits. So if we want to follow it, we're going to advise people, but we need to have an ordinance to adopt it. That's true.
We've been doing it so far, but okay. Any other questions, Pat? No?
I just, it's never been a problem.
Yeah.
Do we need to legislate to follow it?
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion to, yep. Do I have a motion?
Well, there's no ordinance here, this is just a discussion, so.
Well, it says discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance to adopt.
Well,
Did you just want it to be a discussion instead?
well, I didn't write an ordinance.
Oh.
I purposely didn't write an ordinance, because I said I'm getting out of the ordinance writing business.
The direction would have been, if y'all
Wanted to.
could direct
Okay.
staff to come back with an ordinance.
All I did was write the whereases.
Okay, so we can move on then on this one? Okay, perfect.
So no action.
No action, please. All right, 18, discuss, consider, and act upon proposal to enact an ordinance requiring that all meetings, including workshops, be broadcasted. I know you mentioned something at our last workshop when we were doing a budget, and you're like, why are we not also videoing it? I mean, I agree. I'd like the people that can't show up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon or on a Saturday be able to see everything. I mean, I agree, but.
I would agree.
Okay.
And this could be, you can tell
You need to invite them.
Yeah. What was that, Pat?
Is this only regarding city council meetings, or are we going to televise MDD meetings, P&Z meetings?
I think it was more geared, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was more geared towards like the city council workshops, like what we did when we had the city budget workshop at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We didn't have a videotape. Any workshop so far since I've been here has never been broadcasted. So we should start broadcasting.
Have any interest in watching MDD meetings or P&Z meetings?
I would. I unfortunately can't make them, but I'm not gonna. I think that would mean Rosa would have to be here all the time. But I think we were more just on the city council stuff.
The agenda item doesn't discuss all the boards, it only discusses city council.
I think if there's a request, we can consider it, but as long as there's not a request for those other meetings, I think we just concentrate on ours, and I do believe that everybody needs an opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I submitted this request, and I was not thinking about boards at all. That was not my issue.
Yeah.
My issue was, we have extra meetings for city council that aren't getting broadcast, and I don't see any city council meeting that happens that ought not to be broadcast.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we agree on that one. So
there's no, I was not introducing any discussion about boards.
Other boards than council.
Well, we're not board, we're a council, so.
Okay.
We're the governing body, and that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I think every governing body
Should be
televised or broadcast or whatever it is we do. Where do we put it, on YouTube or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Wherever we put it, we should put all of them there.
Yes.
There shouldn't be any non, especially when it's something like budget. Which, I mean, if all the meetings that anybody would care to come see, that's the one they want to know about.
I would definitely agree with you there, William.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we do that, and that means staff's gonna have to write an ordinance to come back.
Well,
to
it
us.
could be an ordinance or staff direction, because you can just, the group can just say, hey, to do this, and I'll make sure it happens every single meeting. So you can do the ordinance if you want to codify, make it a law per se, or just be the council directing me to always stream our city council meeting. That's going to happen every single time.
Well,
So either way.
the reason I want an ordinance is
Yeah.
because things tend to not happen, so.
Not you, but.
In our past, it's changed, but I
Yeah.
think we can, for right now, safely say that we can say staff direction.
Yeah.
There you go. So not have to have an ordinance and have Grant look into it and spend the time drawing up an ordinance. So would we be in more of an agreement to say a staff direction? And then if it stops, then we put an ordinance out there.
Well, in the famous immortal words of Governor Tarkin, you're far too trusting.
Yes, I am.
No, I'd like to see an ordinance, and that'd be my motion, is to have an ordinance to do it, and direct staff to develop an ordinance requiring that we broadcast these the same. Now, either we don't broadcast them at all, or we broadcast every single one of them. But there's no meeting that the governing body has that gets treated differently for broadcasting.
I mean, I agree. I just don't know if we need.
I'm going to second it. And I don't think there's a need, however, not with where we are in this point in time.
But
But
there's no reflection on Hayden. This is a reflection on a strong policy and a good message for transparency.
that's exactly right.
For future
Right.
meetings and everything.
But
Just
I,
know that in the meantime, though, we'll still,
Yes.
we'll be meeting next week.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna broadcast it. Just
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we have Will with the first, Pat with, or Bill with the second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All opposed? Pat, did you say anything?
I have not voted yet.
Okay. We can wait.
I love the thought of transparency. I do. What scares me a little bit is that we are legislating ourselves. Every single thing we're deciding on is we're creating an ordinance to enforce it. And that's a government getting stronger. I know transparency is also the key on this one. It's just, I've been noticing lately as we're drafting ordinances to enforce certain aspects of it, when we have changed our form of government and everything else. So my fear is that we're going to continue to legislate, and then, as William has stated in the past, we're going to get ourselves into trouble in the future. I will agree in this aspect due to the transparency, but I do caution with putting ordinances as much as we are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pat, let me just remind you, when we project policy as a body, that is the mechanism we do it through, is an ordinance. That is how we set policy in a city. There isn't really another way to do it. Anything else is just precatory.
So you want to make sure that this is set in stone versus just us
It's
talking
not that it's
about
set in stone, that is how a governing body acts. So a city, a municipal governing body acts through ordinances. That is the way policy is set. You don't make a policy manual unless there's an ordinance behind that policy manual to give it some teeth. So this is not a matter of us legislating ourselves into some straitjacket. This is just how a governing body works. Any deliberative body does this. It passes resolutions, it passes bylaws, whatever kind of body it is. And we happen to be a municipal governing body, and that is the mechanism that we put our collective will out into the world, is through an ordinance. Or a resolution if we're expressing our opinion. If we want something done, we do it through an ordinance. Those are the only two mechanisms we have.
Okay.
Which has never been disputed. I'm just making it aware.
Yeah, no, I agree with you as well, Patrick. Like I was kind of joking to Bill, he's got to get his numbers up on this because it seems like we're throwing out a lot of ordinances to be made. So, but okay. So we have Will with the first, Bill with the second.
And it was unanimous.
Unanimous? Okay. All four? Okay. Number 19, discuss regarding flock license plate readers and placement.
City
What's your neighbor?
How you doing, gentlemen? Councilman, Mr. Probasky, staff, citizens. Before we get started, I'd like to point out that we have two handouts. One is the exact slide presentation, PowerPoint presentation that we have for you in front of you, and then a copy of our policy 424 in relation to automated license plate recognition. Before we get started, I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you for Lieutenant Aaron Wilbanks, who is following along online as we speak. He's at a drug recognition expert conference, so he wasn't able to attend tonight, but he's online watching. And then a huge shout out to Officer Nash, who had huge insight into the material that we created. So first of all, let me summarize by summarize where we are currently. The Gunter City Council special meeting was hosted on Tuesday, May 20, 2025 at 8 a.m. It was a special agenda to discuss, consider, and act upon a resolution for the Gunter Police Department requesting to apply for Senate Bill 224, Grant 2026, for the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority, the MVCPA, which awards grants to local law enforcement agencies to combat motor vehicle crime. At that point, I gave a PowerPoint presentation over automatic license plate recognition and flock. The council voted unanimously 5-0 to pass a resolution to approve the resolution authorizing the apply to Senate Bill 224, Grant 2026 from the MVCPA. So what is flock safety, the ALPR? Flock Safety is one of multiple companies that provide equipment, technology, and network infrastructure used by automatic license plate recognition. Vendor selection. Flock Safety was chosen as the vendor for the City of Gunter as many surrounding agencies already utilize this network. Network capability. Participating in an established local network greatly increases the department's ability to access relevant ALPR information compared to adopting a platform which limited local participation. Exactly what does the ALPR camera do? The ALPR cameras are an automated vehicle observation system which can capture the following: license plate number, vehicle image, make, model, color, and other vehicle characteristics, date and time, camera location, provides automated real-time alerts if criteria is met. The information can be searched within the retention period to assist with investigations. Now that retention period has recently been changed from, I believe, 30 days that Flock originally had to down to 7. And the City of Gunter has adopted that same policy, or that same retention policy. What it does not do, facial recognition. The system does not use facial recognition to identify individuals. Collect cell phone data. The system does not collect or track cell phone information. Determine travel. The ALPR does not determine exactly where a vehicle is coming from or where it is going. Issue citations. The system does not issue traffic citations. Identify vehicle occupants. The ALPR does not identify who is inside a vehicle. Provide a live video feed. The ALPR captures images when a vehicle passes camera. It is not a continuous live video feed. Capture interior images. The system does not capture images inside a vehicle beyond what may ordinarily be visible through a window from the roadside. How it works. The camera detects and captures the image of a vehicle. The information is captured into a database and will provide a real-time alert or be available to an investigator to use to develop a lead and prove that the vehicle was at a specific location on a specific date at a specific time. For example, a vehicle passes camera A at 0800 hours, camera B at 0837 hours, and camera C at 091200 hours. An investigator can potentially use those records to develop a timeline of where the vehicle of interest was located at specific times, thus strengthening cases. Kind of like a digital footprint, if you will. We use data from cell phones to ping your locations. This can operate in the same manner. Alerts. Provides real-time alerts to officers if a vehicle meeting defined criteria is detected by a camera. Officers will verify the information and attempt to locate the vehicle. Alerts reduce the likelihood of a criminal traveling within our city unnoticed. National crime information topics, center topics: stolen vehicle, stolen license plate, missing persons, active warrants, gang or suspected terrorists, violent person, etc. Custom alerts: vehicles of interest, reasonable, linked to criminal activity or linked to an active investigation. And real-time alerts provide a proactive notification rather than a reactive officer response. Because the City of Gunter is so spread out, this is huge. If we have an officer on Spur 121 and we get an alert from the north end of town, it may be the difference of catching that person within our city limits and being able to catch up to that person. So it's huge. Searches. Only sworn authorized personnel may conduct searches. Investigative support. Searches assist with active investigations and identify potential leads. Possible investigations include, but are not limited to, missing persons, stolen vehicles, hit and runs, theft, assaults, burglaries, drug-related. Vehicle-based searches. Search can be based on identifying information such as a full or partial license plate number, make, model, and vehicle characteristics. The Gunter Police Department Policy 424 of ALPRs. Policy 424 of the Gunter Police Department's policy manual establishes clear boundaries for how an ALPR technology is accessed, used, monitored, and audited. Purpose and scope, policy, definitions, authorized use, prohibited use, user access, required information to search, ALPR hits and alerts, data collection and retention, data prevention, audit and accountability, information and network sharing, misuse and disciplinary action. Oversight and accountability. Permanent record system. All activity is logged and traceable to an individual user. Activity creates an electronic audit trail for review. Activity cannot be deleted. DPS and CGIS oversight. Our collected data reports back to DPS every 24 hours. Operations must comply with applicable DPS and CGIS requirements. Texas DPS and CGIS can audit the department at any time. Department standards. Access is limited to authorized personnel only and governed by department policy. Supervisors can audit and review systems, use and investigate questionable activity at any time. Accountability for misuse. Unauthorized use can result in a disciplinary action up into including termination. Conduct that violates applicable law may also result in criminal charges. Every user is accountable. All activity is documented and audible. Oversight exists at the department and state level. So you'll see to the right there's a flow chart, and that flow chart begins with the authorized user, permanent electronic history, audit trail, supervisor agency requirements and oversight, Texas Department of Public Safety's requirements and oversight, and lastly, the CGIS requirements and oversight. Recent relevant case law. There's a lot of case law out there, but this is the most recent and two of the bigger ones we pulled. Vigil versus State. The Texas Court of Appeals affirmed conviction of the lower court and recognized that an officer's check of a publicly displayed license plate through a law enforcement database did not violate the Fourth Amendment. United States versus Porter. The United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit affirmed the district court's rulings. It held that the use of the LPR system to identify Porter's vehicle did not violate the Fourth Amendment because there was no reasonable expectation of privacy in movements on the public roads or in license plate information, and the LPR data was not as comprehensive as cell site location data. Now we've included images from one of our patrol units as an example of images from our Gunter PD ALPR cameras that we have stationed throughout the city. Next is the Gunter Police success. Some of our success stories, all were detected by the Gunter Police Department cameras. There were several, but these are the bigger and most recent. In April, the ALPR search identified the suspect vehicle with a fictitious license plate used in a robbery in a neighboring agency. We had just pretty much got these up and running when we were able to do this. In May 2026, the ALPR search assisted a neighboring agency with identifying and locating the suspect vehicle of a DWI hit and run. In June 2026, the LPR alert resulted in arrest of a wanted person for robbery, second-degree felony. Also in June 2026, the LPR custom alert resulted in the apprehension of a suicidal subject prior to harming himself or someone. Also in June, we were a little busy on the alerts. We had 3 major hits. The LPR search identified a possible suspect vehicle for a theft, burglary of a motor vehicle. And then in September, the ALPR alert resulted in the arrest of a wanted person with felony warrants. Also in September 2026, the ALPR search identified suspect vehicle with an active narcotics investigation. And these are just some of the bigger ones we had. The current equipment that we have 5 pole-mounted LPRs among the major thoroughfares. 2 on Farm to Market 121, and 3 on State Highway 289. That's north and south on 289, and 1 directly inside the city. And then we have 1 on the east and west of Farm to Market 121, covering our major thoroughfares. We have 2 mobile message boards, trailers, LPRs. More than likely will be removed in the fiscal year 27, and 1 mobile security trailer, which is the pole tower. Also, if we don't get the funding, we'll probably have to have those removed. Have that as removed as well. That's basically because the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority is no longer going to fund that grant, and so if we don't get the funding for that, those will be the 3 items that we won't retain. We will retain the 5 pole cameras that are mounted on the major thoroughfares, because we do have that in our budget. Placement considerations: high volume thoroughfares, high volume roadways that carry significant traffic through the city, key entry and exit points, major routes entering and leaving the city, critical infrastructure and public safety, may be considered near schools or other public facilities, active investigations, mobile only. Mobile units can be placed based on the needs and severity of an investigation. Generally avoiding residential neighborhoods. There is little to no interest in placing a camera within the interior of most neighborhoods. Future developments with high traffic roadways may be assessed if or when that time comes. Recent neighborhood placement, and I think this is a biggie. I want to clarify for the citizens really that are here tonight and those who are watching. The mobile trailers were recently deployed within the meadows and the woods in the recent past for the purposes of assisting streets with collecting speed data. Those mobile units were placed in the woods and in the meadows community to obtain data and the analytics that it provides. That was on request to assist streets on collecting that data on speed alone. We didn't even think it was one of those where our intentions were good, but what the neighbors, our citizens, thought is we were running license plate readers at that time at those locations. It did have the capability, and we do have the capability when we do that, to turn those off. We weren't monitoring the license plate readers on those message boards. We were there just to collect the data and analytics that provided to help determine if we wanted to reduce or increase those speed limits. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there was any confusion. I really appreciate the citizens stepping up and asking those questions, because it was an oversight on our part. Network sharing. Our ALPR camera network is available to be shared within defined geographic limits. Statewide, available to authorized agencies within the state of Texas. Proximity, available to authorized agencies within a 50-mile radius of Gunter. Special permission, network sharing, not meeting statewide or proximity results is restricted unless specifically authorized. And a lot of this is, let's say we have somebody from Phoenix, Arizona, for instance. If they have reason to believe they have a family member or a suspect that is traveling through our city, they can actually call and ask for special permission, and we can grant that. That's what that's for. That concludes tonight's presentation, and we can take questions if needed.
And yeah, thank you very much for this, Danny. I know, like you said in the start, we passed it unanimous.
Sure.
And if at that time it was something new, why not? I think a lot of it is, some of it's what's been out there, as you've obviously heard. So that's why, if anything, definitely wanted to bring it back for discussion, to talk about it. Because that was some of my concerns, was the 30 days. But now I'm hearing even up in Oklahoma, they've moved it down to 7 days of storing the data. Because I think I even saw in the report, it was, sometimes the people that can get access to it, they aren't giving everyone a good name on that. So there was that. And then, like you said, the cell phone. I know police can find with cell phone towers the pings, but you said the flock camera can also do that?
It's like a digital footprint, if you will. So let's say, for instance, it really enhances our cases. Let's say we have an individual traveling southbound on State Highway 289. Every time they pass through a license plate reader, whether it's in an ALPR here in Gunter, in Prosper, and so forth, it won't tell us if it's going north or south, but we can track that digital footprint to say, okay, this is the checkpoints. It's kind of like going through a toll tag, right?
Yeah.
It can track which points of contact that vehicle went through. And so with that, we can, when somebody says, well, I wasn't in Prosper, well, we can say otherwise through this digital footprint that it creates and helps us with boasting our cases.
Okay. So that was that. And then,
What currently that's out there, what's the issue? I mean,
But it's
you make issue over anything.
It is
but-
officer misuse.
Really?
And I will say this, and I can't make any promises to the council, and I can't make any promises to the citizens of Gunter that other agencies and their officers will not misuse this product. I will say this, it is a great and valuable tool when used correctly.
Mhm.
What I can promise you is the Gunter Police Department will use this in a correct manner, because if not, the discipline action will be severe up and to include termination, and that's what I can promise you.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I want to say a few things, because I was the one pushing to get this on the agenda. I didn't really expect to hear a presentation from the police department. I wanted to talk about the cameras in general, but I'll start with a few things. First of all, the data goes into a database that's owned by a company called Flock, and anybody can get into that. Doesn't matter how good and what good custodians the Gunter Police Department is. Every other police department can get into it. So it doesn't matter what our policies are. It doesn't matter what we say our people aren't going to do. That's else can get to our stuff. So
That's not entirely correct. So what happens is once each department is giving, each department throughout the United States is given a dashboard, so to speak. When you let's say you create a product or you purchase a product through a vendor, you get a dashboard, right? So you have access to that dashboard. The only way another agency can get into our information that we store is through us sharing that product. Now, what I've been told, and Officer Nash can speak to this a little better than I can, is the information that every one of these agencies alerts that they get is stored in a cloud. In those different states there's oversight for us specifically. Texas Department of Public Safety and the CJIS compliancy is huge. There's a lot of oversight to that, not to mention what our oversight will be. So yes, every agency can have a dashboard, but not all the agencies, unless we give them permission, will get our alerts. Now, our alerts will only last 7 days, and matter of fact, as of just, I think, last week, that was also Flock's stance, and they just recently changed their retention to 7 days to help alleviate the scare out there in the public.
So I think what William's point was is, yes, we understand all of the agencies get their own dashboard, but it's stored on a Flock data center, basically.
That is correct.
Server. And so that means if a hacker, international, internal, whatever, they hack the Flock system, then they've got access to everything and anything, not only Gunter, but Salina, Prosper, and other states.
not only that, can Southmaid see any of our traffic?
Not unless we share it.
Well, do we share it?
Upon their request, yes.
So what do we share upon that request?
Our alerts, like, let's say in real time, our officers have an app on their cell phones, and they know that I'm not even sure if Southmaid even has, do they?
Yes.
They do. I think they have a couple.
Yes.
So if
Southmaid has 4.
they have an alert and they think that they're heading in our direction, they can ask for the supervisor on duty to have that shared, that information shared, to where they can cooperate and we can get that digital footprint.
Let's say they didn't have a flock system up there. Could they still ask or anything? So it's basically like a society.
It is only agencies that subscribe to flock.
Yeah, it's kind of like a society of who's in this. Great, you get this, but if you're not in it, then.
And Flock is not the only department or company that has the ALPR capability.
Yeah.
They're just one of many that have they were one of the first to start leading the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the benefit of everyone using the same product is the fact that we can, upon request, share that data.
So the first question that comes out of your mind is this person fugitive? And that's answered by them contacting you and saying, okay, yes, this person's a fugitive, and then you release the information to them. To whatever degree, whether they stole something or whether they got warrants out for their arrest, whatever that may be.
Officer Nash, would you like to step forward?
Chief, I remember you saying too that you require a case number, right?
Yes, so that is a great point. None of the officers, even the officers, cannot just willy-nilly request that type of information.
Right.
There has to be a case number associated with that search.
And to expand a little bit further on the specific searches, before a search can be conducted in any way, shape, or form, not only is a case number that's used with internal Gunter PD records, as far as here's a permanent record of exactly what offense we're investigating, everything we do is under this report number. The specific type of offense, whether it's a burglary, drug-related, missing person, something of that nature, has to also be included, as well as the reason for the search, whether it's for a welfare concern, missing person, investigative purposes, etc. All of that has to be included, plus specifically known vehicle information before a search even gets generated. One of the big common misconceptions, to speak on one of the questions you alluded to earlier, is what exactly does Flock show us? It's not a live feed, as we explained in the PowerPoint. I don't get a rolling display of every license plate that drives by, unless it has one of those preset alerts, like Chief alluded to, of the missing persons, wanted persons, gang terrorists, etc. Nothing happens. We get no alerts. There's no activity one bit, regardless of 1,000 cars driving by. Other agencies and departments, to speak for kind of the address, if a department contacts us and does not have access to Flock, but they're requesting our assistance with an investigation. One of the success stories we mentioned was assisting another agency with trying to track down leads on a missing person that they had information to believe uses the 289 thoroughfare. They don't have access to the Flock data. We're not giving them access to our Flock system. We conduct the Flock search to assist them as long as it's in accordance with our policy and our procedures. That is my name associated with a case number, with a reason, what the purpose is, etc., trying to help them find the missing person.
So if you want to access this system, does it require a warrant?
No, sir, it doesn't.
So you can get all of this information without a warrant?
And that's what the case laws were mentioning, is because of this is information that is publicly visible. If any of us walk straight out to the roadway and just look at a car driving by, it's that same level of information, no warrant is needed.
But it's not that same level of information because it gets stored for 7 days and somebody can come back and find it later.
Well, you were mentioning some of the retention. It's on an AWS cloud server, which is in accordance with CJIS requirements, the Criminal Justice Information System. It's a nationwide oversight board that has adopts rules and regulations and policies governing all criminal justice systems nationwide, from small municipality to federal level. Everybody has to be in compliance with it. And this cloud server that all this information is stored in falls under that purview and compliance.
I wasn't so much interested in whether the cloud server was secure as I was what data was there and who can get to it.
Only authorized users, and as we said, we have to give people permission.
I hear y'all keep saying that, but there's plenty of instances where unauthorized users have gotten to the data, and I don't really,
Are you saying outside of the law?
well, mostly it's law enforcement officers who got access to it improperly.
Right.
And
Well, that's what I was trying to answer, Councilman, is
so. let
with
me ask you
another
this.
agency accessing the data.
I lost track. How many devices are there? Because originally when y'all came to us, it was a license plate reader and there were 5 of them. But now it sounds like it does a lot more than read license plates, and it sounds like there's a lot more than 5.
No, sir, it reads the license plates. There's 5 permanently installed pole cameras. There are the 2 mobile trailers that also have dual purpose as a speed trailer. And then there's the non-license plate reader, just has Flock's logo on it from the camera system itself that we can access through the program. That is just a mobile security camera trailer.
What does it do?
That can be moved around for, say, for example, construction sites. That provides us camera footage and person detection, stuff like that. If somebody's wandering a construction site at wee hours in the morning.
When we first utilized that pole tower or pole camera, it was placed in the park, the city park. We had a criminal vandalism, criminal mischief vandalism case where some teenagers vandalized the bathrooms, the restrooms. We were able, with that device, to solve it within 24 hours.
So I want to make sure, again, I kind of lost track of how many there were. I counted 8 then.
So, yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Eight in total devices.
I want to go back to
10 from
original, because Danny made a point of bringing up that we approved it. We approved 5 license plate readers, not devices that do all kinds of things other than read license plates. And it was supposed to be about $5,000. And the last I heard, last meeting, was something like $16,000 or something. So it's gotten a lot more expensive, and it's gotten a lot more cameras, and they do a lot more things than just read license plates.
So to answer that, Councilman, thank you for bringing that up. So when we originally put in for this grant, it was for the 5 license plate readers. When Lieutenant Will Banks, while working on the grant for the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority, they had personnel that reached out to us and said, hey, there's more things that you can reapply for. So we did reapply, and we were able to get multiple devices, which was the additional 2 message boards and the camera, the pole camera. But those 2 or those 3 devices will be going away if we do not fund them as of this year. Because at the end of this year, the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority will not be fulfilling that or funding that particular grant anymore. And a lot of that, in my opinion, is I believe they promised a lot of departments, and they just can't fund it.
The concern I have is we're talking, this was a year and a half ago, we were talking license plate readers and we were talking 5. Now they've expanded to they do more than read license plates, and there's more than 5. And here's the thing, I applaud you for saving money, but what I'm not comfortable with is the fact that it just shows up and I don't know about it, and neither does the town. And these things are tracking how fast you go, where you're going, whatever you're doing. I don't know what they're doing, but they are more than a camera that reads license plates. And when you bill it as a flock camera, it's a flock device that collects a lot of data, and it is demonstrated that it's not secure, that it can be abused, and we don't even know where they are. I'd like to see a map. I'd like to have a discussion about where these things are placed. I'd like to have a discussion about what the real budget is to maintain them. And I don't want to see a bunch of anecdotes about a few wins we had on something that's not even a gun problem. They need to be serving a purpose here, and it needs to be significant enough that it offsets the intrusion, because that's what it is, the intrusion into people's privacy, because recording somebody for 7 days or 30 days is not the same. Sorry, Officer Nash, it's not the same. It's just noticing a car drive by that you see and then you forget. This is completely different, and it records a lot more data. Yeah, I know y'all keep saying it only records license plates, but it doesn't only record license plates. It records make, color of the car, even down to things like body damage. So it records a lot more information. And I think everybody in town has a right to know where they're pointed, who they're looking at, who can see it. And I'm frankly concerned that you can get to this data without a warrant. That just doesn't make me comfortable. There's no judicial oversight that I can see at all. Y'all can go get this information without ever talking to a judge, and that does not make me comfortable. This is not just a little license plate reader, and I'm sorry, I don't think it's really fair comparison to say it's just like going to the toll tag readers. Those toll tag readers don't do anything other than read your license plate. That's all they do. And you're right there on the tollway, and that's it. These are very different. They're much more.
Well, I welcome you, Councilman, and I appreciate you, your candor. We want everybody to know where these are. It is my opinion that I want this to be a detection device, a deterrent. I want the bad guys to know that if they enter the city of Gunter, if they have a warrant for their arrest or they're driving an illegal vehicle, they will be handled. They'll be taken care of.
I'm all for catching the bad guys, but the bad guys are driving on the same street as every resident in this town, and every resident in this town doesn't necessarily want to be watched. I think people ought to be able to drive in and out of their house without having the police department knowing when they're coming and going.
So is the camera always on, or is it only reading when a plate that's in the system comes by? Because again, this is new for me as well. So are the cameras on the outside always seeing everyone who comes by? Or the example you guys gave us with the police car. So in order for this police car to be seen, did you have to do anything before this? Or is what it said, does every car that comes by get this same snapshot?
Yes, sir. So when a vehicle drives by and it detects a readable license plate, is when it'll capture an image. It's the license plate reader portion of the ALP.
Yeah, it's got to read the license plate first to know that it's worth reading it. So it has to read every license plate.
But like what Dave was saying, I think that's actually a better idea. If you put in, hey, this license plate's been looking out, and then the camera turns on when it sees it, then okay, but it still has to see it. But that's not going to, I know it's not going to turn.
The camera is on, but it has to look. It won't know. Then it can alert somebody when it sees a license plate. But the question is that all it does? And that's not all it does.
And I really believe that this conversation began and it kind of got convoluted based upon the Gunter Police Department was only trying to assist in determining the speeds for the meadows and the woods, and we utilize that for the analytics and data only. Officer Nash can testify to this, that not one license plate was read or captured or stored during that time that they were out in the woods and the meadows, because it wasn't what it was designed to do at that time. Now, we had the capability to do that, but that's not what we were trying to do and what we were trying to accomplish.
But that device has the capability to read those license plates, and how does anyone know that it wasn't reading? I mean, all we got
they don't, and that's why we said that was the concern, is we didn't know. And yeah, I remember when you came with the speed study when Adam was here, you even said that, hey, yeah, they were going fast, but we couldn't ticket them because we didn't have the camera on or, nothing along that.
I gotta tell you, I was really surprised when Adam shows up and starts telling us that people are driving 29.3 miles an hour average. And where are you getting all that information from, Adam? That means you stuck the camera in the neighborhood and nobody knew about it. And especially nobody up here at these tables knew about it. And that's disturbing to me. The people in this city have a right to go about their business on a day-to-day basis without being supervised or looked at. And sticking out things like cameras is a problem. It's a serious problem. It's an intrusion on people's privacy. They have the right to come and go. And finding out after the fact with data that nobody knew people was collecting on is not making anybody comfortable.
And to go back on the point, yes, we all unanimously agree on it. My stance on it is for every 5 good things that it can do, there's probably 1 or 2 bad things that can also be used. Well, I'll say more, but there's bad things. Like my example I was going to use is like you said, if someone wants access to any information we have. So let's just say Chief Jones and I were best buddies, and I go toilet paper at his house as a joke, and then I'm on the flock camera coming back. Could he literally go in there and see if my plate, if it was me, that, I have no business being over there in his area. Yeah, he sees my plate. Okay, it was Wade, I'm going to go toilet paper him next. If it was one of those type of things. He's an officer, he's chief. Like you stated, he needs to have a case number of some sort to be able to go in there to see.
A reason for this, a case number, the specific criminal offense, the reason for the search itself and known vehicle details, he would conduct a search.
And this is
Who do you give all that information to?
We don't.
No. So like if Chief Jones wanted to do that, who would he have to give that information to say, hey, I'm looking for this?
You enter it in the into Flock itself before you can actually engage a search and view any results whatsoever with the camera.
So
when you
put
log
it
into
in,
Flock, you have a screen for search.
Mhm.
You can't pass go. You can't proceed past that screen without all of that required information.
And even if you were a south or up north officer wanted to check and see what Gunter had going on, you still need all of those things to be there.
And that's why we've straightened up that's why we organize it the way we have, is we have to give authorization to other departments because we have our policies and procedures that we feel are highly important and relevant to this. We have our governing oversight. We have the Texas Department of Public Safety oversight. We have CJIS oversight, Fifth Circuit, State of Texas, and Supreme Court oversight as far as judicial and non-judicial oversight into every search we do.
Sorry,
We're not going to really.
I just want to interrupt you for a minute, sorry. Those are very, very, very broad and not Flock-specific oversights, so I think that's not really helpful for the conversation. I gotta say, every other week or so, I hear about some police officer who's gotten crosswise with Flock cameras, and all of these things you're describing don't prevent that, and it keeps happening.
If I may finish my point then, sir, is these are oversights. We have to, before we authorize anyone else to access our data or have results from this, we need to ensure that they're in compliance with the same standard we own before we carte blanche give somebody this record. And that's why during the PowerPoint presentation as well, we alluded to and touched on, you have our policies in front of you. Disciplinary action up to and including termination and criminal charges if they're applicable.
Okay, so say somebody does it, and they get something they shouldn't get, you're gonna terminate them, but the person already got the information they shouldn't have got, the cat's already out of the bag. But what good is it to fire them afterwards? Whoever's privacy got violated, you can't unviolate it. I think it's great to have policies and procedures, but you can't undo, once the horse is out of the barn, you can't put it back.
Well, my feelings on it are, is I think it happens every day. And I'm not talking about any kind of scenario that we're involved with or that type of thing. And it can come up in any situation as long as somebody's got one of these. And so if it's a tool for you and you want to utilize that and you're going to utilize it correctly, I'm all for it.
Well, and I just want to say, gentlemen, appreciate it, Mr. Hibby. Thank you. I do believe, I agree with you, it's a great and valuable tool when used correctly. But at the end of the day, Councilman, you're the ones that are going to make that decision. And if you feel like Mr. Hibby, it's a great tool, then I would say and we can also, at the end of this year, we can go back to the 5. We have it in the budget it's $3,000 per camera. We can reduce that because we're going to lose funding for the other 3 items anyway. We're able to utilize that in other areas such as the 4th of July events and downtown events, and with new construction sites to help cut down on criminal mischief and vandalism. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. We'll support however you vote.
How long are the contracts, like you were saying? I know with the mobile ones, but are we under a contract to use the Flock server and we have to pay for that? Like what happens if?
So it's year to year. We lease this equipment year to year. And so let's say we keep the 5 cameras and it's our major thoroughfares, north, south, east, and west. So we can control that and see that, and it helps prevent the bad guys from coming in or out of our city. We can keep those, and those are $3,000 per camera each year. We basically lease this through Flock. So now the other items and how we got this, we were pretty much one of the first departments in this Grayson County to lead the way in this was based on a Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority grant. But that grant funding will not be funded next year.
The only comments that I have are one, we definitely need to maintain the trust of the public.
Yes, sir.
So, however, transparency, we love to use that word in this community. However, we want to create a policy within your department or whatnot of notifying the citizens should you guys adhere to a request by city staff or another entity that, hey, advisory, we're putting a flock camera at this location for this purpose, you know, as long as it's within your guys' boundaries to divulge that information, because once again, investigations are a different story, but, you know, we're finding out a lot nationwide about flock cameras. You know, Councilman Stevens brings up a great point that bad actors are doing bad things with flock cameras. I don't think there's a policy in the world that we can put in place to prevent bad actors from doing that. It happens at the national level with espionage. Can't stop bad people from doing bad things. But how do we build people trust? Utilizing this very effective tool as it's been portrayed, how do we maintain that trust with our own constituents?
Well, Pat, I'll say there's a lot of effective tools. We can put traffic stops up and have everybody stopped every time they come by. We can do that too. We can do a lot of things that are intrusive. The fact that you don't necessarily feel it doesn't mean it's any less intrusive. And it's not that it's not a great way to catch people, but there's a lot of great ways to catch people that aren't necessarily respecting people's privacy. And this is a system that's interconnected. It's not just us here at Gunter all by ourselves. It's the entire state. It's the whole database for Flock.
But to rebut you, Mr. Stevens, is everybody carries a cell phone, right?
Well, but a cell phone isn't connected to everybody else's cell phone and then correlated in multiple pictures tied together with AI analyzing it. So I don't have Hayden's cell phone. I don't have Eric's cell phone. I don't have your cell phone. And I don't have a computer sitting there comparing all the pictures. There's a big difference between your cell phone and this.
Once again, do you know that for sure, Mr. Stevens?
Do I know what for sure?
The way you just said that.
That I don't have Eric's cell phone? I'm pretty sure I don't have Eric's cell phone. Yes, I know that for sure.
No, that they're not all interconnected?
Yes, they're all interconnected. It's one big system.
Correct.
And I think, gentlemen, what we're here tonight to do, and I'm a big proponent of, is education through communication, is to kind of bust those myths that are currently out there and to answer some questions moving forward. Because we do want to be open and transparent with our citizens and our community that we serve. We love this town. And we're not putting those out there as Easter eggs. We're not trying to hide them. I want the bad guys to know where we have placed those cameras. I want them to know that they're in our city because I want that to be a deterrent. I want them to think twice about coming into our city to possibly commit a crime, drive a stolen vehicle, or if they've got warrants for their arrest. I don't want them in government.
Well, I think there's no disagreement on that. I think what the other part is like what I've even been reading since we've approved these a year and a half ago was, well, what about when you have the wife that's fleeing her battering husband, takes the kids and goes away, and then somehow they can find out she's not a bad person. It's the other side that if the bad person coming in finding out, oh, that's where my wife and kids are at that ran away from me. Those are some of the other concerns that I think would be, that's been out there. And that's the thing, is we just need to, well, for me, I need to know more about, like you said, like we said with the jokes, if I took a picture of your house, how would you be able to find out that it was me? You know, you need all these information. I have no idea about that, but still, I think there's still more discussion that needs to be on it. I know we have a citizen that would like to talk, but go on ahead, Mr. Nash.
I just wanted, one of the points you had brought up and kind of questions kind of got lost in the shuffle early on was clarification you were wanting on whether or not Flock is affiliated with cell phone data. It is not. But there's a full separation between that Flock device and anything tracking data that's going into or out of the cell phone.
But a Flock camera can pick up a ping, cell phone ping like a tower. No, it can't.
two different technologies, two different.
Okay.
Cell phones is what we utilize in the criminal aspect to help ping people's location when they triangulate.
Well, if there's a critically endangered missing person and they have a phone on them, we could try exigent circumstances. We could try to ping their phone to narrow down where in Texas they may be to get them home.
Does that require a warrant?
And exigent circumstances, that's an exception to the search warrant requirement.
Could it be a missing person?
No, I mean, does it require a warrant to get ping people's phones?
Outside of exigency, yes, sir, it does.
Right.
But those are substantially more invasive and specific than just public view from the street. And that's what the Supreme Court has settled on when we mentioned on the case laws.
Well, I know this is a discussion. If we need to have another discussion on it, let's bring it back to this. I know we have a citizen that would like to speak real quickly. If y'all
Real quick. I've heard what Officer Nash and Chief Joseph said. My concern is, the fact is, this department doesn't own any of the data. It goes into the cloud, it's owned by Flock. The fact is, hackers can get in, they've proven repeatedly, data has been shown that they've gotten in and displayed this information on the World Wide Web, on the internet. You can go out and find it. There's actually instructions on the internet on how to do it, okay? The data is not secure. It's not secured by this department, no matter what your policy says, because you don't control the data. It's not on an isolated server in your police department, period. And until it's in that position, as far as I'm concerned, it's warrantless search. I mean, you can tell about a car if I have the wrong plates on it, my bumper sticker or any other identifying mark on it, and you're surveilling people that may or may not have done anything wrong. That's my position on it. You know? And do I want to be surveilled every time I drive in and out of town or in and out of Salina? Or, I mean, I go into Dallas County, Collin County every day. I'm tracked the whole way. And it's not just these cameras, it's your toll tag readers, it's your cell phone towers. That tracking, that digital footprint, that's how they made Meta and all these other companies are able to target you for marketing and all these other things. I don't want to add to that. In funding it through my tax dollars, I wish you'd ask me before you allow it to happen, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're using our tax dollars against us to fleece us even further.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I know it's just a discussion, so if we need to bring it back, then let's bring that discussion back. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so like I said, are we okay with the discussion? If we want to bring it back, we can bring it back to another discussion
On
time?
item 21, you can add that.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, agenda item number 20, this one was mine, so like I said, Bill, you gotta get your numbers up. Get some stuff on the agenda. Discussion around the city of Gunter regulations on data centers. So this is one of another hot topic that's coming out there in Texas is data centers. I mean, they don't need 200 acres. They can do it like what they're trying to do down in Prosper, 33, 40 acres.
That's my question is as far as regulations are concerned, what would we regulate? I mean,
well,
I don't know if there's any total familiarity with how they're going to build these things and what they look like. But if we can control the design to some degree and
could we
bring that forward, hey, what do you think? But
yeah, so in this situation, data centers are already in the listed use in our use chart.
Yeah.
So they would already fall under the new and listed uses in the city of Gunter. So if someone wanted to come with this use in city limits, it'd be treated like a planned development coming to you guys for full review anyways. And then anything in the ETJ has no zoning. So anything in the county you can't regulate anyways. But in terms of what can happen in the city of Gunter already, you already have kind of a quasi protection because it's not listed as a use that exists in our zoning ordinance already. So you could go ahead and prophylactically add that use and not allow it, or you can just defer back to what already exists, which is it's not listed as a use already. So if it did want to come, they have to follow the same development procedures as if it was a planned development.
Well, what if we have an ordinance already in place that said no data centers in the city.
And that would only be useful inside our city limits, which we can't control the county.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If we had it in there, let's say, Eric, we were able to get someone to annex into the city limits, it's a vacant plot, but then they sell it to a developer. But if they come in and come to Eric and with a DA and say, hey, we're going to do a data center, and then he has to go through the process. Well, if we put out there then an ordinance right then and there, well, then wouldn't that be a discrimination to him instead of just doing it now of no data centers within the city limits?
No, because it'd be contract zoning for one, if we're gonna do a DA. And if we did, as Hayden mentioned, it's not in the permanent land use table, so they'd have to go through the process of a new and unlisted land use, which would go through P&Z and council to create that land use on the permanent land use table. And then we could still go through a specific use permit or a plan development process.
Do they have to own the property though first to do that process?
No, I mean, you don't have any vested rights just because you own the property. They're annexing in and they want to do it, then.
Well, let's say they're coming out here, they're interested, DG's plot, it's in the city limits, 147 acres. Shouldn't have said that out loud, but okay. You know, say they
know.
Yeah, they look at that, great. They don't buy it yet. Do they still come to us to ask if we have what is the word that they used last time, nutrition for it or whatever? An appetite. Do we have an appetite for it?
Sure, they could run things up the flagpole to see what the pulse would be on it. But
Yeah.
if DG's in the city, he has zoning right now, and I can guarantee you it doesn't allow data centers. But that goes, his zoning is entitled for residential right now anyway.
Yeah. I'm just using that as an example because that's one of the
Well,
largest
many other examples, or property annexed into the city initially is zoned in as ag, which really isn't zoning. So that's why most people come in and do developer agreement, because they want to have established what their zoning is.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically it'd be ag to R1 once they establish a primary zoning. But sure, you can write an ordinance now, but there's so many things going on as far as holds and moratoriums. There's things from the governor's office right now that have passed on one of the council members that's been written. There's ordinances we're working on right now between Westlake and Keller, because they're trying to put a data center in Westlake and it's affecting residents in Keller. And then the city of Fort Worth 2 years ago went through a whole process of framework and setting up and having hearings and stuff on establishing that ordinance. So there's lots of things out there that have already been done. Have they been legally tested in the courts yet? Not totally.
Yeah.
But sure, we could write an ordinance, but then you're almost saying that you're like, they can't obviously outright deny land uses. Like if someone has property right now that's the acreage is in its own light industrial, but a lot of our light industrial uses are specific use permits. So you're not saying no to the land use, but no here, and then they have to find a different place, and you can say no there. I mean, you can go on and on. I mean, there's case law on starting with a pawn shop. You can't deny pawn shops, but you can make it very difficult. Essential only businesses. We have that in our permanent land use table. That's never going to happen, but we're not denying them outright. It's in the permanent land use table. It just might never happen because they're not going to get the specific use permit for where they want to go, or locate next to a school or whatever. There's different ways to put it in there.
But if we had an ordinance, it would
make
everyone sleep better here in the town, and then it would deter people from wanting to buy property.
It would help if you knew what you were objecting to. I mean, I can't believe anybody's just objecting to a data center or don't even know what one is. So they have to have some specific characteristic of a data center that they don't like.
Well,
that would be this is on the discussion. I can bring the data.
They do have a perception or a belief of what they are because of what they're seeing in the news and all the other people fighting them or whatever. So it's accurate, but
the two big objections are they use a lot of power and they use a lot of water. The state's already fixed those two problems.
Right. And a lot of them actually are using closed loop or gray water now, so it's not as much of an impact, but they still should locate them. The biggest issue I see is there's some kind of locating them near residential areas when they should be in more industrial surrounded areas.
Yeah.
Well, it's a discussion, so I mean, I'll bring it back with the data. I just wanted us to talk about it to see if we had at
this point in time, we do not have an ordinance, but we are going through an amendment of the permanent land use table. So that could be added in there, and it would have to be. You can't just write an ordinance for a land use and then not having your permanent land use table too. So there's 3 or 4 factors that we have to do.
And that goes back to we have to really understand what it is we don't like about them to be able to make sure that we understand what we're restricting.
Yeah, we need to be educated on the whole process of it, and that's fine.
Well, I wouldn't normally say that, the difficulties in infrastructure that hold us up on other developments is a bad thing I don't like. It wouldn't be so bad here. And there's not enough water infrastructure or the electrical grid in this area particularly to do it. But that is why they're moving to Texas in a lot of instances. There's already many established in Virginia and Michigan and other states. It's the infrastructure, it has to be there, but there's the land. Yeah. But in Grayson County, there's not the infrastructure, the water and sewer yet.
Yeah.
So, but if it's something other than power and water, what is the something?
The other things are noise. There's the frequency. Those noise ordinances have decibel levels that don't address the frequency that occurs with data centers.
Okay, but there's inverse square law is gonna attenuate that, so you can set up distances and space.
Well, people still don't buy off on the distances though, but it's just like back 20 years ago, we were dealing with high power tension lines and expansions of those by residential areas, and people saying, if you live underneath one or near one outside the easement or whatever, your baby's going to be born with 5 legs and 2 heads and things like that.
Right.
And there wasn't enough scientific data, so that's part of it. Is there's just not enough data. It's like any new emerging technology and land use. There gets to be a lot of different misinformation out there that someone reads. Well, they located on a farmer's property next to him or whatever. And now all his cattle are infertile, or they won't be. They're not going to birth the calves anymore. Well, that could have been that. It could have been something with the water supply too. So that's the thing that needs to be more investigated, is the scientific stuff, and whether or not they are coming up with the technology, because the early on ones did use a significant amount of water and did cause issues with the power grids and things, from what I've researched.
To answer your immediate question, Wade, so the non-existing ordinance is protections for the residents. So just know that.
Yeah.
If the question is what exists today, nothing, which is a good thing, because if there is nothing, then a non-illicit use is in itself protection for the residents.
Okay. And like I said, I just wanted to have a discussion. If we wanted to entertain it, then I'll bring back all the data and information on other things than what we see in the news from finding actual data. So, okay, perfect. We'll get that back up there. Okay, so, and Patrick's battery died, which is kind of perfect timing because we don't have any other make a motion on of anything. I'll ask him or can I ask him if he wants to put something on the agenda? Or no?
You can email me.
Okay. Then I won't do it. Okay. Discuss, consider, and act on determining agenda items to be placed on future city council meetings agendas, and direct the city secretary as to which future agendas the item should be placed upon. And we have.
I got a few.
Bill, you got a few? Come on.
I have none, sir.
Are you waiting for his turn to be done and then you come in with yours?
I'm not waiting on anything.
All right, let's hear them.
All right, so street assessments. We did a study on streets, which is great, but now what? We need to do something with it. We need to get a plan together, and I'd like to see the staff put a plan together. Our street has a lifespan, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. Whatever the lifespan of our streets is, let's say it's 10 years, that means 1/10 of our streets ought to be getting redone every year. We need a plan for that. We need to look at what we're going to do for these streets, because our streets are not getting looked at. And doing a study, we spend a lot of money on doing a study, but now what? We need to do something with the information. Otherwise, we just wasted money just to tell us that the streets are in bad shape. But we already knew that. We didn't need to spend, I don't know what it was, $20,000 hiring a civil engineer to tell us our streets are in bad shape. So now we need to do something with that information.
Okay. So you wanted to have
we need it
added back or added onto an agenda.
We need an agenda item for that, I guess, or staff can work on something and bring it back to us. But I just don't want it to be nebulous. Someday they bring it back to us. We need to get a date and a timeline. So we need to understand what we can do, what we can't do. Also, I got an email tonight from I forgot who it was from, but it was a poll that got done in the city, and it seems like the biggest item that everyone cared about in this poll was streets. So we need to be focusing on streets. We got a lot of other things that we get off track on, and streets are, I think, the number one thing to be looking after.
Did y'all get that survey that they took? You did, good.
I can't hear you, I can't see you.
So we have another issue, which is we removed Nichols Jackson as the city attorney, but Nichols Jackson is still the attorney for the MDD. We need to take that issue up, so I'd like to have that on the agenda.
We can.
You can.
The MDD has the right to have any attorney that they choose. We have no authority over it.
All right, well, then the second thing, we need to get the MDD board filled, and I can fill it with people that will get rid of that attorney and get a new one, because Nichols Jackson needs to go.
Oh, and that's the comment I made to y'all earlier when you was talking about their resignations. We have 3 applicants, and Hayden and I are already getting everything prepared for the start of the interview process.
And then those signs for the builders, we need to get those back on the agenda, because those, when they go all the way down to the floor, I mean, you just can't see. We need to have some limits on that, if we have them at all, and we need to really consider why we have them in the first place.
You're talking about the laws signs?
Yeah, on
With
289.
the developers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just if anything, move, because I believe every city has those up. It's just, it'd be nice to have them move back a little bit.
Well, not at corners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the middle of a road, sure, but not at a corner.
Yeah.
People trying to turn and figure out if there's traffic coming, and
You mean not at the intersection?
Yes.
Yeah, like at McConnell,
Right.
coming out of the
Well, any
woods.
intersection.
And then I think there's another, well, yeah, there's another one just right down here, but that's perfect because it's not blocking anything.
it doesn't
Okay.
block anything, but.
Well, it's there, but it's not blocking any view of traffic.
Right, well, that's all.
Okay, okay. And then I want to put discussion, or just still discussion around the regulations of the data center, and I'll bring more data and information for the next meeting. The next regular council meeting, which is on September 3rd. Okay.
And then a reminder, y'all have your budget workshop at 5:30 on
Tuesday. Do we have anything on the 26th?
No.
Okay, so that's the Tuesday.
That'll be the last one. We won't have
Okay.
another one until September 3rd.
Okay.
I was thinking for the budget, we'll get a packet tomorrow to review over the weekend in preparation for the meeting, so you get an Excel spreadsheet with the budget outlined, and then a budget booklet to review as well. So for the next meeting, everyone will be more prepared to.
Thank you.
Perfect. Pat, you're back with us. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to next meeting's agenda in September?
Just making sure that we go over the MDD's budget. It's unfortunate that not everybody got to take the time to look at that. MDD's put a lot of time and effort into publishing that. So please do due diligence and bring your comments to the next meeting, please.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. Now, I know Hayden, maybe we can't do it because we're not all here, so we can't.
No, we need 4 in person.
We need one more
Okay.
And then just so you guys know, Alan did leave for a medical reason. He's doing good. Just so you guys know, he did leave for medical purpose to the hospital.
Oh, crap. Okay. Well, I hope everything turns out good for him. Okay. Okay. Anything else? No? Okay.
Do we want to call an extra special meeting soon to deal with the problem of the road?
We could definitely
Do it Wednesday or Thursday? Sooner the better.
Or what about, can we do it on Tuesday, right before?
We missed the posting deadline.
Well, if we call it emergency meeting.
We can still call it emergency,
Yeah,
and
emergency.
then do the.
On
and then do
Tuesday.
the
We'll do the same thing for Tuesday.
Yeah, and then on the first, we can do the
So just to confirm, we're going to do the emergency meeting Tuesday before the workshop.
Yes,
Okay.
please. So we need to
And
get
just
that-
verify.
Actually, we can open this emergency meeting and then continue it to that day.
So-
Actually,
sorry,
that's
hold
too
on,
far.
Pat.
That's too far, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
for this emergency meeting,
Just call it again, just call it again,
for this emergency meeting, essentially what we're going to do is make a determination that necessary quorum can't be met, so therefore we can't proceed.
Right.
And then you all can proceed with the next, set the next one up and all that.
Okay, so we can set it up for Tuesday, emergency meeting. You were very shy on that one, and I don't know your name, and I'm sorry, because I just met Grant the other day, so you're like, kind of like, just a little bit of this kind of.
Oh, no,
quiet.
I do love that movie,
Yeah.
That's but yeah, Alex Crowley.
Good to meet you, sir. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so we'll do that on Tuesday, and we are good. Do we have a motion to end the meeting?
Well, I just wanted to verify before we close that the Tuesday meeting is actually going to be televised on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
both of them, probably the emergency meeting and then the workshop. Yes. Okay.
Motion closed.
I have Bill with the first,
Second.
Will with the second. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
All right. Meeting is done at 8:38. Thank you, guys.